It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Brad Miller. We're happy to welcome into studio a friend who has visited with us before from the Northern Arizona Veterans Administration in Prescott. Centered in Prescott, Jason Kadah is here, and we say good day to you, sir.
Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for having us again. We always appreciate being on with you.
Going to talk about some interesting things, as we always do when we talk with the VA. And then also in studio with us, similarly, Bruce Nogar. And Bruce, you kind of coordinate the heavy duty of responsibility of transportation for our vets.
Exactly. Yeah, we do bring everybody that's has scheduled medical appointments to either the C-Box in Flagstaff, Cottonwood, Havasu, and Prescott.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And you need volunteers.
Definitely. We're looking for volunteers to bring everybody in.
Yeah, we're going to talk at length about that, and I think there's even a paid position in that department that we maybe can chat about quickly. But
sure.
Volunteers, if you've got a little bit of time and you can spend them on the road, what better way to do that than helping out our veterans? Think of what they have done for us in their lives, and it would seem a simple matter. We could get enough volunteers rally to kind of help out, but it's been tricky, and we know this. Buses, schools are having trouble with bus drivers, so there's issues there, and we'll chat a little bit about it. But Jason, let's start here with housing in general. I think, a lot of times, I know this has been it for me. It's easy in our very busy lives for everybody, work, school, and life, just going on along. And we think about Veterans Day or 4th of July or Memorial Day when we do and should commemorate and think about our honored vets. But they don't just come out and go away on those holidays. They're here every day.
That's absolutely right.
And there's too many of them that simply do not have a place to live. The homeless veterans are a huge subset of homelessness in general.
Absolutely, Brad. And the secretary of the VA came out with a very effective and very heartfelt line not too long ago. He said, Secretary McDonough said, the word homeless and veteran should never exist in the same sentence.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with that. Toward that end, what kind of a problem, or do we have one more locally in Northern Arizona? And how are we, kind of looking there? I'm sure there can always be help and folks that can play a part in solving this problem.
Absolutely, and you're aware, whether it's Cottonwood, Flagstaff, Prescott, anywhere in between. The housing issues that we have here, whether it's permanent housing or even rental properties,
right.
And trying to get, especially not only your folks who come in, your teachers, your dentists, your firefighters, but these veterans who need a place to live. It's a big challenge for us. And what I can tell you is we at the VA are very, very proud. We have a relatively new program. It's actually a branch of our facility called the Homeless Veteran Program.
Okay.
And what they accomplished in 2022 was fantastic. So that program housed 445 homeless veterans across the Northern Arizona VA system. That, Brad, was 157% of their target goal for the year. So for starters...
And that was last year.
That was last year.
Okay.
So we'll start clean this year, and their goal is obviously to exceed that once again. But it branches off a national program, and the National Homeless Veterans Program had a goal of housing 38,000 veterans throughout the country, wow. Homeless veterans. And they exceeded their goal, just for reference, by a little over 6%.
Okay.
So the fact that we here in Arizona exceeded our goal of housing homeless veterans by 157%.
That's great.
Is something we're really excited about, but we absolutely know there's more work to do.
And want to build on. I know it's hard with homeless populations in general. I mean, just, like for the census, say. Mm-hmm. It's got to be difficult. Sometimes veterans, through their experiences and their difficulties, are very reticent to come forward with some of their troubles, homelessness being maybe chief among them. It seems health, nutrition, everything has to suffer when someone is living, say, on the street or under a bridge or does not have a permanent place to call home. Everything is going to be bad underneath that. How do you first kind of identify these folks and then get to the serious business of helping them out?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brad. So a couple of different ways. Number one, we will get them to either A, come to us, or, for example, somebody who knows a family, a friend.
That happens a lot, doesn't
a stranger. And that's the great thing that we love about this community in Northern Arizona is this is just so supportive of our veterans. So we've had people say, look, I don't know this gentleman from Adam by any means, but I see he's homeless. Can we get him some help? And but for that person calling in and letting us know, we wouldn't have known that the individual. So then our folks in our homeless program can reach out to that individual and offer them services.
No, okay. I know someone, I've spoken with him, hanging out by Safeway in Cottonwood.
Yep.
I don't know anything beyond that, but he's told me he's a vet. His story sounds sincere. I can call you, and you have mechanism in place to reach out specifically to that person?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can either reach us, directly here in Northern Arizona, but it's all funneled through a homeless veterans program.
Okay.
And again, I'll give you this number, and if just interested in taking it down.
Great.
Again, if it's you don't have to know the person. You could know the person, but this number is 877-424-3838. Again, 1-877-424-3838. Describe the situation, and then one of, depending where they are, Cottonwood, Prescott, KVRD, somebody will get out there, try and make contact and see if we can't get that individual the services they deserve.
When we talk about homelessness, that is a big thing. When we're asking for financial resources or even volunteerism, as we'll do a bit more with Bruce in our next segment, those are things that people can work their busy schedules around and perhaps commit to. When we talk about homelessness, that gets tricky. I don't think you're asking anybody, hey, can you open your door and set up a room? That'd be wonderful. But aren't we really kind of talking to folks with deeper pockets and bigger resources, builders, landlords? Isn't that kind of the realm that we can really get the most help from?
Absolutely. And there are, Brad, incentives for landlords or builders or just folks who are willing to rent or offer housing to these homeless veterans. And this website's a very simple website. It's just www.va.gov/homeless. va.gov/homeless. So for more information or to find out what can be beneficial to you for helping out and renting to these veterans, a lot of good information there, and you can talk to somebody there as well too.
Okay, terrific. So let me understand it right. If there may be, we don't know, it's going to be a specific case. If, say, someone has an 8-plex apartment complex and 2 of them have been used for storage and need some finishing, perhaps there is something in place through the veterans. They can receive some kind of grant funding, even those kinds of things, or some incentive considerations. There's something there.
There's something. Yeah,
you need to talk to them yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but it's by reaching out either through that 877 line or checking on that website. There are incentives, and that's really what we want folks to know. Whether again you just have some extra space, you're a landlord or you're a builder, please reach out. We invite you to. There are incentives for housing our fine men and women of the who are veterans.
And just the peace and the feeling you're going to have in your heart walking away knowing you did this
absolutely
is going to be as great as any other.
And very anecdotal. I mean, again, it's just Jason from the VA talking here, but we've heard through our homeless program these people who have rented to these homeless veterans just how they speak of like you said. The satisfaction that it gives them knowing that they helped out somebody, and particularly a veteran.
Something you have, something you can do that others cannot, and look what you've done for our fighting men and women who are in their times of need at this point. All right, that's great stuff. We'll give these phone numbers and websites again before we wrap up the show, so keep your pencil and paper close by if any of that got by you. When we come back, we're going to focus a bit more on transporting. There's housing. That's one part of our program and one part of the problem today, but getting our beloved vets back and forth to medical appointments and other kinds of things, that's a full-time job with some heavy lifting, and Bruce Nogar is the guy doing that right now. He needs your help. We'll talk more about that when Countywide comes back right after this.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Service for over 25 years and continues to serve the communities in northern Arizona. Jackson Hewitt is here to help you file your personal taxes. As laws and situations change, your local Jackson Hewitt Tax Service professional stays updated to serve you. Drop off or make an in-person appointment. In Flagstaff, call 213-8626. That's 213-8626. That's 213-8626.
The award-winning experts at Verde Solar Services offer the trusted Carrier products that help you customize a solution to fit your budget. Verde Solar is a family-owned business serving the Verde Valley for 38 years with the Carrier products you can rely on. Carrier AC systems are trusted to bring energy-efficient, quiet, consistent comfort. Call 928-567-5315 for a free assessment of your AC and air quality needs. Verde Solar Services, online at verdesolaire.com, a factory-authorized Carrier dealer.
Don't let concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Matthias Sandoval, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand the impact of these events and make sure your goals are top of mind. While you can't control the market volatility, we'll focus on what you can control. We can connect in several virtual ways. Start by giving me a call at 634-1044.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
And welcome back to the program. Again, countywide, I'm Brad Miller. Jason Kadah is here today from the VA. And Bruce Nogar. And Bruce is going to talk to us about transportation issues. He is looking for volunteers, people who can help with getting our veterans to their appointments, their various commitments and things like that, and perhaps even opening the door a little bit with enough personnel. Maybe there are some additional things that our VA, our vets can travel to and take part in that now they can't, simply because there's a shortage on drivers and folks with those kinds of abilities to help out. So Bruce, talk to me a little bit about this. I guess simply put, you need drivers.
Correct. Thank you for allowing me to be here today, Brad. Yes, the DAV Transportation Network, we're sourcing the volunteers to be able to bring our veterans in. Right. The VA provides the vehicles. The potential volunteer would need to get a physical that's provided by the VA to make sure they're medically safe to drive for their safety and the safety of our veterans.
Drug test, fingerprints, things like that. You bet. That you would expect that for doing this kind of work.
Yep, definitely. And the VA covers all that. Once the driver gets vetted and approved to drive, then they get the driver training. We get them on the road and get them to their appointments.
Sure, simple as that. Mm-hmm. These appointments, I think about medical appointments. What else might kind of come up in the everyday?
Community care. There's community care appointments that the VA will farm out, so we get them to those appointments. But they do have to be referred by the VA. Okay. They just can't call for their personal doctor appointments. It has to be through the VA.
Okay. Are there social outings? Here's where I'm going. There was over in Dewey, the Harley-Davidson dealership there used to do big veterans kind of thing, and I think COVID slowed that down and so on. But a bus, kind of a short, maybe, I don't know what, a dozen passenger perhaps, a bus would come and bring some of the vets out there. So there's some kind of, outside activity, and this one specifically because they were being honored and commemorated, which made perfect sense. What I'm getting at is because there's not enough volunteers right now, are there some things that veterans just aren't able to enjoy, go to, visit because of the shortage of drivers?
Well, the drivers that we employ to do is just for the scheduled medical appointments. Okay. The DAV chapters or the other American Legion, VFW.
The critical stuff.
Yeah, those organizations would probably be involved with that. But yeah, we're just in the business of getting them to their scheduled medical appointments, be it the VA, a community-based outpatient clinic, the C-Box, or a community care appointment that's farmed out from the VA.
The stuff that's critical.
Yeah.
The very most important thing.
Yes.
Okay, how many volunteers do you have? How many do you need? What's your dream number?
Right now, totally between Flagstaff, Havasu, and Prescott, we have approximately 20. We'd like to have at least 50.
Oh boy!
Because some of the veterans are putting in a lot of hours. We'd like to help spread that out a little bit so they're not so. I mean, they enjoy doing it; they love it. Sure. But if we can ease up a little bit for them, that would be great. Sure. Throughout the area.
I'd be willing to bet that you have veterans themselves who are among your volunteer corps.
Yes,
you bet.
Yes, and you don't have to be a veteran to be a volunteer driver.
Do I need previous driving experience? Do I need experience with? I know sometimes do drivers need? You mentioned some of the things up front with the vetting and the fingerprinting and so on. Do they need to know CPR? Do they need any kind of special education or instruction prior to volunteering?
No, they don't need any of that. Of course, it's always beneficial. But
everybody should know CPR.
Definitely.
Sure.
But our volunteers are just there to drive. We make sure that the patients are 100% ambulatory. They're able to get in and out of the vans by themselves.
Gotcha.
And if there's any cognitive issues or any issues where they need an attendant, then we would, as the transportation coordinator, would make sure that that's all handled and worked out. So when the volunteer driver comes in, gets his clipboard with the keys and the patients he's picking up, that's all he does. Picks them up, takes them to the appointment, hangs out, waits for him, takes them back to home.
You know who and you know where, and by golly, that's what a driver needs to know the most.
Exactly.
Okay. When we talk about drivers, I guess, is there a deep training schedule? If I've never driven one of those 12-seat vans before, can I get on the learning curve pretty quick?
Yeah, the vans you just need a regular driver's license.
Okay.
There's no bus or CDL requirements.
Okay.
It's just a straight license. They're 10 and 12 passenger vans. They're just like a regular old van.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need much experience.
You're knocking down all the obstacles here, so volunteers, let's get busy. I guess the final thing, really the biggest about that, would be what type of a time commitment weekly, say, would an ideal volunteer need to kind of bring?
All right. Well, we would like to ask, because the vetting process through the VA does cost a little bit of money. Of course, the volunteer doesn't pay for that. But to get them vetted and everything up, in order to offset that cost, we would like the veteran to at least commit 1 year of service volunteering driving. And then when they're actually driving, the more the merrier.
Right.
We can spread it out. We've got drivers now that like to do Mondays, or another driver wants to do Thursdays.
Right.
So they can, if I have more drivers, then we can split that up. If they want to
help everybody,
once a month, twice a month,
with that specific schedule. Just that's how it ought to be. The more that you have, some of the stresses will be taken off off some of the other guys.
And Brad, I don't know if Bruce mentioned this, but one of the big incentives is if you drive more than 4 hours in a day, the VA, by golly, we'll give you lunch.
Yep. There you go.
So we'll feed you.
All right. Well, now you've got my attention.
It's not steak and lobster, but it's a darn fine lunch.
Well, it's terrific. And here again, it's just like Jason, we said earlier, folks who might be able to help out with some of these housing issues. What a great feeling you're going to have being a volunteer. Any volunteer who's done it for more than a day will tell you that. They'll tell you it's challenging. It can be frustrating, but at the end, it is rewarding. And that's why so many good people do step up. An awful lot of retirees, particularly, who find themselves with a little extra time. So if you've got some patience and some of the skills that we've talked about, and it doesn't sound like there's much. If you've got a car and have driven it a time or two, you might be in the running to make for a good volunteer for the VA. You mentioned before we opened the mics, Bruce, there was also an administrative position open?
Correct, yes. The person that will manage and orchestrate all the volunteers to get to to schedule the veterans for their appointments. It's called a transportation coordinator.
Okay.
And that transportation coordinator we are hiring, and that is a paid position. You still will be a volunteer through the VA for VA purposes, but the DAV will pay a stipend for that person to manage it, orchestrate it, get everybody all the assignments and everything every day.
Okay. Are there regular shifts with the vets, or is it just Sam, John, and George have appointments, so we go that day, or is it Monday at 8, there's a bus, Tuesday at noon, there's a bus,
No,
does it work on that kind of schedule, or is it as needed?
Yeah, it's as needed when the veterans call, and we can pick up multiples in the vans.
Sure.
So we just ask that the patients that we do pick up have a little patience, because if there's 5 people on the van, we got to wait till everybody's done to bring them all home.
Okay,
and
makes sense.
And the transportation coordinator is the one that helps to orchestrate that and make sure that everybody's taken care of.
The trains run on time.
Yep.
Almost literally. All right, guys, let's take another short break. When we come back, we'll kind of wrap it up, and we will bring back some of those phone numbers, websites, and that key information so you can reach out, whether it be to volunteer as a driver, to find out more about how you might be able to help curb the homelessness among our veterans. You're right, Jason. It tastes bad saying those words right back and back.
Shouldn't exist.
Together, homeless veterans. Let's wipe that out. We'll take a short break. Countywide's back right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley for 38 years, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust, designed, engineered, and built in the USA. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates on systems that are quiet and affordable. Verde Solaire is locally owned since 1983 and available for all your heating, air conditioning, and plumbing needs. Call 928-567-5315. Visit them online at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Taxes, taxes, taxes.
It's that time again. This is Lewis with Rice Accounting Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. We don't sell cars, we don't do hair or wait tables. We do taxes. At Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, we talk taxes and we prepare taxes. Open year-round for tax filings. Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, located throughout northern Arizona. For over 20 years, our local preparers have helped neighbors pay their fair share and no more.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service in the Tri-Cities at 772-7872. That's 772-7872.
Welcome back, Countywide, as we kind of wrap up our guest today, Jason Kadah. Bruce Nogar, doing great work with the Northern Arizona Veterans Administration. And Bruce, I think we neglected, or I did, to get the phone number. If someone is listening right now and they think I can do some driving, I can be a volunteer and drive some of the vets around, what is the best way to reach you or to reach the department?
Yeah, that'll be the Volunteer Services Office at 928-776-6013. Once again, 928-776-6013. Let them know you're interested in driving or you're interested in the paid position as the coordinator.
Either way, they'll get that to you, I guess.
Amen.
And then they'll get a phone call back probably very quickly, and we'll find out if they can come in and help out. You said you've got about 20, you need about 50, so we need a lot of people to kind of respond and perhaps be volunteers.
Yep, between Havasu, Flagstaff, Prescott, and Cottonwood.
Okay, and folks that live in those communities, I guess, obviously would be the best to fulfill.
Yeah, we have vehicles based in each of the cities. So local drivers for each of those areas would be awesome.
Okay, so just about no matter where you are in our greater Northern Arizona community, it's likely you would make a good driving volunteer. 928-776-6013. And then, Jason, let's get our homeless vets off the streets and into a warm and cozy home where everything will prosper once they find themselves back into that situation. If here again, particularly if I'm a builder or a landlord or someone with those kinds of resources, and I'm looking maybe for incentives to become part of this program, how do I connect?
Yeah, I would, certainly, Brad. I recommend that you check the VA's homeless website.
Okay,
and that's just va.gov/homeless. And on there, and then there'll be other, phone numbers. You could actually talk to somebody, for example, and find out more about those incentives, but they're there. And once again, if you are a veteran who is homeless or at imminent risk of being homeless, or if you know someone that might be, this number will put you right through to somebody, and we'll get that individual some help. That's 877-424-3838. Again, 877-424-3838.
All right, terrific. Guys, I want to thank you so much for what you both do and helping our veterans who could be more deserving of the kind of assistance that the fellows are talking about today. Reach out, contact if you can. Even if you can't, think about somebody, a neighbor, a friend, a cousin, a brother-in-law, who might be able to fulfill one of the roles that we've talked about here today. Our veterans need your help. There you go. We thank you, Bruce Nogar, Jason Kadah. I'm Brad Miller. It's Countywide, and we'll see you next time.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.